Every single state is at play. Every single state is at play. Facts, number one enemy. Truth, number two enemy. Number three, of course, accountability. They want nothing to do with any of these three things.
So basically the question at this point is, can the United States offer Iran something that they would be willing to take, considering the fact that Iran wants this situation to deteriorate as much as possible so they can extract the most value from it?
That's why I told you, we don't have there's no end to this. And one of the things that they want for sure is to make Donald Trump pay and pay dearly. Moving on here, don't forget to like and subscribe on your way in if you haven't done so already, or on your way out for that matter. There's a lot of people that have backed Donald Trump, and they don't anymore. This guy, I don't know who he is, but he's apparently one of the influencers that has completely changed his mind about Donald Trump. And he says some of the reasons why. MAGA, they don't pay attention to these types of things, right? Well, like the ones that are fully entrenched in the web, they don't care about facts. They do everything that they can to get out of the way so that those things don't bother them anymore. But this is what this guy says.
I voted for Trump 3 motherfucking times. I've taken so many fucking arrows for this dude. It's insane. It's impossible to defend his position right now. It's becoming more and more apparent that you have the interest of a fucking another country over the interest of the people that you were elected to serve. Yeah. And you promised you were going to do these things. What it appears to, for me and everybody else, is that you fucking lied to everybody.
He did lie to everybody, and I'm so glad that he was able to figure that out. This is what I've been telling everybody every single day here on the show. That's all he does is lie. If he's moving his lips, ladies and gentlemen, that's your cue. That's how you know. You don't have to hear what he says yet. If his lips are moving, he's lying. I'm glad that that guy was able to finally figure it out, okay? There are some things that when it comes to Republicans that I say on a daily basis during every show. In fact, I have spoken about this during this show already, right? And what is that? That the Republicans are the reason why we have all the problems that we have. Listen to this guy, not this dingbat right here, but the guy that's talking. You'll see him in a second. And what does he say?
Every time Republicans get office, they do a few things. They cut taxes for the rich. They cut benefits for the poor. They blow up the deficit. They start a war in the Middle East, and then they cause a recession. We've done the first four. The fifth one's coming. Is there anything wrong with this analysis, Woodrow, or would you agree?
I wouldn't necessarily agree with that.
He would not necessarily agree with the objective truth, the objective facts that guy just told him. He didn't make anything up. He literally just said exactly what has been happening and what is happening, right? He didn't say anything that was not true. But that guy says he can't agree with it. And he said that the fifth one is coming, right? He named four, but the fifth one is coming, which was the recession. We're going to be in a recession officially. We're in many parts of the country, people have felt that we were in a recession the day that he walked into office. We went downhill. But if it hasn't been official yet, which is 2 straight quarters of non-growth, that's a recession. We'll be hitting that sometime soon. But let's continue, though.
You're saying every recession has been caused by a Republican president?
When was the last recession that was caused under a Democrat? He doesn't know. He doesn't. Jimmy Carter.
Okay.
You know how long ago that was?
How long? Yeah,
7 out of the 8 last recessions were under Republicans.
Right. Let's just go through all this. So you're saying those are the only, there's never been a recession under Biden? There's never been.
No, it was not a recession under Biden.
No.
Fact. No.
Okay. All right. Learn something new every day.
Learn something new every day. Yeah, there was no recession under Biden. We went through all-time highs with Biden. We were in a recession with Donald Trump, though. Isn't that just weird? And before him, it was Walker Bush. Guess what that was? The Great Recession. And before him, it was Herbert Walker Bush. That was in 1988 to 1992. What was that called? A recession. In fact, the second term of Reagan was a recession. You cannot make this shit up, bro. I swear to God, it's crazy. This is Hunter Biden once again, though, talking about the whole Sleepy Joe thing, which I think is funny because Donald Trump just can't stop falling asleep everywhere. And Hunter points that out here.
So this whole Sleepy Joe thing and all that, if that's the standard, then why aren't we having a 25th Amendment right now? The man literally falls asleep in a room full of his entire cabinet, sitting behind the Resolute desk. And that is not an exaggeration or unfair. It's not unfair of me to say that. It's not like they just caught him closing his eyes for a moment and said, oh, he's sleeping, like they would do with my dad, okay? You literally can go back and look at the videotape of him with an entire cabinet speaking behind him, sitting in a chair, and he's sleeping. He's out.
He is out. Out like a light so many times. Isn't that weird? Every time we turn around, the guy is completely out. I mean, he went to the NBA Finals, and he fell asleep there too. It's all he does is fall asleep. He's in the middle of cabinet meetings, out like a rock, bro. That's all he does is fall asleep every time we turn around. He's fallen asleep in the Oval Office during press conferences. I mean, you cannot make this up, bro. This is Donald Trump being asked about Macron not joining the Board of Peace. And because he's so goddamn stupid and he cannot for the life of anyone figure out that tariffs don't work and they have done nothing but make this country worse. What does he say?
Have you invited President Putin to be a member of the Board of Peace? Yeah, he's been invited.
Have you invited President Putin to be a part of the Board of Peace? Yes, he's been invited. That's his boy. He loves him some Putin. But when asked about Macron, one of our actual allies.
Give me a response to President Macron saying he will not join the Board of Peace?
Oh, did he say that? Well, nobody wants him because he's going to be out of office very soon. So, that's all right. What I'll do is if they feel like Costco, I'll put a 200% tariff on his wines and champagnes.
Yeah, because that works, Bobo. That works. We've seen it work so well. I mean, the guy is as dumb as you can possibly imagine. I mean, like, the guy just cannot understand what's going on, bro. He does not know what's going on. The tariffs are paid by us. We pay the tariffs. Ask your nearest MAGA that. They're not going to know what's going on because what's that called? Real life. They don't know what's going on in real life at all, period, okay? If you've forgotten, though, for everyone that's watching me right now, a little over 100 people watching right now. If you've forgotten how J.D. Vance really feels about Donald Trump, let's all have a reminder of that right now.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him.
It makes you think that at a fundamental level, this is sort of a he said, she said, right? And at the end of the day, do you believe Donald Trump, who always tells the truth? Just kidding. Or do you believe that woman on that tape?
No, I cannot stand Trump because I think he's a fraud. Well, I think he's a total fraud that is exploiting these people, who is a total fraud.
Like you said, I agree with you on Trump because I don't think that he's the person. I don't think he actually cares about folks. There is definitely an element of Donald Trump's support that has its basis in racism or xenophobia. I think there's a chance, if I feel like Trump has a really good chance of winning, that I might have to hold my nose and vote for Hillary Clinton. I think that I'm going to vote third party because I can't stomach Trump. I think that he's noxious and is leading the white working class to a very dark place.
There goes J.D. Vance, ladies and gentlemen, talking about his true feelings about Donald Trump. And goddamn it, he was right when he was telling the truth, but now he tells nothing but lies because he's with Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't tell anything that's truthful. That's the number 2 enemy for MAGA, right? Facts, number 1 enemy. Truth, number 2 enemy. Number 3, of course, accountability. They want nothing to do with any of these 3 things. They stay furthest away from all 3 of those things in every aspect. You can't make this up, bro. Mr. Global talking about what's going to happen. This guy's great. He knows everything about energy, especially oil. But what's he talking about when it comes to the Middle East and the war in Iran and the intertwining of other countries, especially Saudi Arabia and other countries? Listen.
So last night, the Houthis struck Saudi Aramco's Jazan refinery on the Red Sea, a 400,000 barrel a day refinery that sits on its own export terminal, and that makes it significant. In addition to that, it appears that our administration has finally woken up to the fact that the countries that are responsible for about 45% of the world's oil supply are now under attack. That hadn't occurred to them before now, apparently.
That's not a good thing for all the MAGA dummies watching me right now. Most of you are not, so congratulations. You're a part of the real world. You don't live out in La La Land on the planet Lie to Me like MAGA does, right? We here are a part of the real world, and we know that every little thing that happens in the Middle East is going to affect our pockets. MAGA doesn't know who to blame, though. We saw that earlier, right? Like, they don't think that it's Donald Trump, right? It's not, it's the Democrats, it's the liberals. That's who's doing it. Like, they're literally the dumbest people on the planet. Let's continue.
They're also responsible for, not quite, but almost 20% of the world's refining capacity. And pulling Saudi Arabia into this war was one of the things I was really concerned about. And Donald Trump said he would hold Iran responsible for anything the Houthis did. But so far, the only thing we've done is beg for a deal. Let's get back to the MOU. We've now offered them like 3 different deals in the last 72 hours or so. And last night, while Iran and the Houthis were basically lighting up the entire Middle East, the United States did not strike Iran one single time for the first time in over 2 weeks. So basically the question at this point is, can the United States offer Iran something that they would be willing to take, considering the fact that Iran wants this situation to deteriorate as much as possible so they can extract the most value from it?
That's exactly what they're doing, and that's exactly what is going to happen from here on out. That's why I told you, we don't have there's no end to this. And one of the things that they want for sure is to make Donald Trump pay, and pay dearly. And he's going to. When the midterms come, it is going to be an overwhelming rebuttal of the Republican Party. Like, I like watching David Pakman, right? And I just heard a David Pakman show the other day, right? I'm listening to one of his videos. And he once again, I completely and utterly disagree with David here. Once again, he talks about how the House is going to be taken over by Democrats, but not the Senate. It's not, like they most likely are not going to win the Senate. What's he talking about? I don't know what David's looking at, though, because I watch these and I'm looking at poll after poll after poll, and every single state is at play. Every single state is at play. And the way you can tell that is by looking at every election that has happened in 2025 and this year. It just got worse this year. Every election that Republicans they're losing every election, okay? That's number one. Like 95% of elections are being won by Democrats. And they're winning in areas that were once 30-point victories for Republicans. So if you look at the races and you just, you do logical thinking, and you think to yourself, okay, well, how does that play out nationally if we have a race in November and there's multiple Republican senators who won by 15 or 10 points? If they won by 30 points in their last election, I'll give you that. I'll say, okay, you know what? That's probably. I'm not even going to say it's a sure shot like I would have a couple of years ago. Yeah, they're going to definitely win. Like, absolutely. That's not the case now. But a 20-point victory, that's not a sure shot. They most likely are going to be ousted, especially if they're 10-point winners. 10 to 15 points, you're out. That's the swing that we've seen. 16 points on average, if you average them all out, was the swing to the left in 2025. And it's gotten worse this year. So do you think that when it comes to the senators, they go, well, you know what? Let's continue with the nonsense with our senator and not the congressman? Do you think that's the case? No, they're gonna be wiped out. And my prediction is somewhere in the neighborhood of 55 to 65 Democrats in the Senate. 55 to 65, so it'll be 55 to 45 or 65 to 35. And forget about the House of Representatives, that's going to be 300 to 125. Okay? That's what I think is going to happen.